So what were the key steps that you took from going completely one-on-one to going semi-online to then going fully online?
Use the gym for everything that it's worth, right? So a lot of people will sit there and say that the rent you pay is it's an expense, and it's not. It's a fucking asset. Because there is never a time in your business career as a personal trainer that you'll be able to only pay $300 a week and have access to 4,000 people. Never going to happen, right? Never fucking going to happen. You go pay that on Facebook, you won't get the same ROI, right? You won't have the same hot leads ready to pay you. It's not going to happen. So milk the gym for what it's worth. The way I did it was I treated the gym as an acquisition system. I signed people up. I then told them that I will work with them for 2 to 4 weeks, depending on their degree of experience. So let's say they were pretty comfortable in the gym. I work with you for 2 weeks. We do 3 sessions week 1. We do 2 sessions week 2, and then you go online.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand, and damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want
what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast from Lambs to Lions. I am your host, Reese Livingstone, joined here by Patrick.
Hello.
And I have an announcement that I forgot to tell Patrick. So you're hearing this for the first time, very evidently by the look on your face. We have a very special partnership to announce and talk about here, that we now have our first sponsorship of the show, Knock On Automation. Big thank you to Knock On Automation. They have helped us massively with automating LIONSTONE and helping a lot of the process with onboarding and bringing in clients in a far more sequential manner that feels better, it's more valuable, and we can provide quicker value for our clients. So thank you to Knock On. And let's get started.
All right. So today, what are we talking about?
Man, I think it's been, I don't know how many episodes in are we? How many are we in?
I haven't kept count, but it's probably like 20 or something.
I think we're like roughly 6 months in, and we've not once spoken about the LIONSTONE origin story, how we got here, why people should even listen to me and in the business world, and kind of like the process of LIONSTONE. So I thought probably a good way to cap off the year. This will be our last long form episode for the year. So best way to do it. So I think we just kind of jump into it. So you kind of interview me and fucking go from there.
So I think a lot of people, obviously there's a reason to listen to you. You give people watch
certified
the podcast.
mad dog.
Every other episode, you're real professional sitting upright interviewing people. Certified mad dog. You're going to do this one in a singlet. But I think, there's not obviously a reason for people to listen to you. They see the facility that we're in. They see all the stories. They see all the people that you get to interview. And there's obviously a reason that these people come onto the podcast to talk to you.
Yeah. I'd hope so. Yeah.
So let's go all the way back, because LIONSTONE has been a thing for the better part of a decade now.
I think 2012, so pretty much
a decade. So let's talk about obviously your beginnings in the fitness industry. I think we've spoken about that on at least somewhere. It doesn't really matter, but let's talk about your first few years as a business owner, because every PT comes into it just being like, oh, I'm just going to train people. But then you find out, oh, actually, no, I'm running a business. So talk to me about your first, let's go the first 3 years, and what was that like in terms of starting as a freshie PT to being kind of in the trenches for your first 3?
I think like most, I started the business thinking the most important thing was a logo and a name, and it was not LIONSTONE once upon a time. It was Living Fit PT. Yeah, and I was like, oh, shit, we'll put the logo up somewhere. I'm just going to throw you under the bus with the editing, but bang the logo, bing.
Yep.
Anyway, I spent probably a long time just conceptualizing what am I going to call myself? How am I going to brand myself? And put a lot of time and effort into branding and what I thought was business. Look, back then it was probably not a very conscious thought of business. It was just a thought of necessity. Spent a lot of time on that. Didn't really go anywhere with that. Started in boot camps which is fucking wild to think back. I did boot camps in a park. Just struggled like most PTs in the first 3 years of their business. They don't really come into many great successes. For me, I don't think I signed my first client until 9 months in, and of which I charged absolutely nothing for, and hated every session that I did at that rate. Continued on down that path for a while. was lucky enough to meet some pretty good mentors in the gym that I worked at. And as much as like that business relationship ended pretty quick, well, not pretty quick, it was a few years, but just like maybe somewhat sour. I do owe them a lot, like taught me heaps, figured out that I wanted to do things on my own from that experience, and grew from them being mentors for them being business partners, and then that pretty much birthed LIONSTONE.
So obviously in your first 3 years, you didn't consider yourself a business owner?
Not at all.
No? What do you feel like was the defining factor that moved you from just one-on-one PT, kind of just showing up to sessions, doing the thing, to being like, oh, actually I need to treat this like a business?
I think at some point, like, money talks and bullshit walks at the end of the day, right? Like, and you can tell yourself all the bullshit in the world that, like, it doesn't matter. It's just for the helping people. And that's what a lot of personal trainers will say. And a lot of, service delivery business owners will say often, it's like, oh, it's just about helping people. And you can tell yourself that bullshit for as long as you want. But at the end of the day, like, money talks.
Yep.
And you got to have something to show for all the work you're putting in and for all the help you're trying to provide. And I had a moment where, I was not passionate about waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Because, like, to paint the picture, I was doing roughly 70 to 75 in-person sessions a week.
How old were you?
I would have been, so that would have been about probably around 2 to 3 years in. So I would have been like maybe 20, 21.
20,
right. So generating roughly, I think I was charging like $80 a session. So do the quick math. I don't know. 80 times 70.
Times 70. We're looking at $5,600 a week.
Yeah. So it was
20 years old.
A 20-year-old kid with a pretty shitty relationship with money. I was earning some like pretty good cash. But at some point I realized that the passion to wake up in the morning, all I started seeing was like, well, every time I wake up, that's X amount of dollars, that's X amount of this. I never really cared about the helping people anymore. And at some point when you start thinking about money exclusively, you naturally start to think about, well, what can I do with this money?
Right.
How can I better use it? How can I better influence the people that are in the business? And like, that's where for me, the penny dropped, where it was like, well, you're making all this money, but you have no idea how to use it, no idea how to create leverage from it. And the only way to make more is to keep trading your fucking time. And that was heavily highlighted from like a failed relationship. All I did was fucking work.
Yeah.
And she made it pretty clear, like, that's why I failed, is because I fucking worked. So it was like a 22-year-old kid going through a breakup, like, with all this money, no one to share it with. And like, for me, it was like, I just spent it on dumb shit, spent money all over the place. And for me, that was where it kind of dropped, Told myself all the time that like it was all about helping people until I had all this money and didn't care about helping people anymore, but had no idea what to do with money. Yeah. So it's like, you kind of have to start thinking about, well, what does a business do? Yeah.
So that's where you turned into a business owner.
I think so.
Yeah. And what were your next steps after that? That were like, okay, well, I've got all this money now. How do I run a business? Where did you learn all the skills from?
I wasted it all, to be fair.
I know you did.
I wasted a lot of it. Spent a shit ton of money. Didn't realize I had to pay tax.
Talk about that.
We'll go there in a sec. But I think more importantly, like, the switch for me was like, well, I made all this money, wasted a lot of it, and had really no friends, lost the relationship, didn't know what to do with the money. So, and coming back to the only way to make more was to trade more time. I thought, well, fuck, if I ever want a future where I've got a flourishing relationship, happy friends, and a happy life, I can't just be doing 75 sessions in a gym every morning, or every day, every week, sorry, and waking up at 4 o'clock and being there at 4:30 and then going to bed at dumb o'clock at night and then doing it all again. I needed a way to like move away from just trading my time and finding a way to leverage other skill sets, assets, etc. And that was for me, like, just time was the enemy. Yeah. Yes. Time was like, I had to avoid time at all costs.
Right. So, because that would have been peak when you were still business partners with you and that previous boys. Yeah. So, because that still went on for a while. Because I met you when I was 18. So, because you were still at.
Well, let me ask you a question. What was your perspective of me as a quote unquote business owner when we met?
I just knew you had a lot of money.
Yeah, okay.
Because, like, obviously I was 18. I was probably in the same boat you were that long ago, just minus the lots of money part. But...
Suck eggs, loser.
Yeah. I think just to touch on what, like, I think I made like $7,500 in my first year at PT.
As in 7,500.
Right. You know what rent was at Good Life.
Yeah, 15K.
Yeah. So my perception of you as a business owner at the time, it's a good question because I obviously didn't think of it as a business. I thought I was just rocking up to sessions and just trying to scrounge as much cash and as much people and trying to sign people as possible. So I don't think I had really a perception of anyone as a business owner in that gym. It's just I knew busy PTs and like not busy PTs.
Mm-hmm.
And busy PT, I saw like a lot of people there, like obviously signing up with you. Then I could do the math in my head of what you charged per how many people I saw you with. So I knew the money that people were making. It wasn't just you in that gym that was super, super busy. There was a bunch of people in there. So there was like that top echelon of PTs, and then there was like the rest of us.
Yep.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So what do you think, actually, that's a good question. What do you think was the thing that was separating those, like myself and yourself in terms of getting to where you were?
I don't want to oversimplify this, man, but it's honestly just fucking action. Right? Like, I think, just as a side note for anyone that is in the fitness industry that wants to go down the road of one-on-one personal training, I think if you ever want to do it, like a gym like Good Life is the best place to do it. Little plug. Don't give a fuck. It's the best place because they fucking like shuttle clients in well. They sign up a lot of people. It's a personal trainer's gym. It's not like a, 24/7 access gym where like the culture is just go train, do your thing.
Yeah.
Like people expect to get help and they expect to see personal trainers walking around. And that's still true to this day. Like, the amount of like businesses I've mentored now that still work in Good Lives, it's the same system.
Yeah.
I think it's the best place to start if you are going into one-on-one. That's not saying you should, but whole different discussion. I think the difference is just fucking action because all the systems are there, all the processes, granted, a lot of them are pretty shit, right? And they're getting taught to you by people that have failed, but ultimately you only need to know the bare minimum to do well in that kind of like situation.
Yeah.
And it's just action, right? All the top echelon of people that were busy in that gym had really two things in common. One, they put a bit of money back into their education and they got a bit smarter. And two, they just did the shit. Yeah. Right. They made the calls. It's like you don't really need sales training when you make 100 calls a week and gets told no 95 times. You figure out what the fuck you did wrong pretty quick. Yeah. If you're someone that's like somewhat self-aware, you can make those like adaptations as you go. And the top echelon was just those that actually were hungry for it, that wanted to do the work and wanted to be, and it's coming back to what I always say, is be inefficient. Do the things that take the time, do the boring shit to make the money. Yep. And like I say it all the time, the work you do for free in the first 6 months of any business is the work you'll get paid for the year after. And so it's just double down on the free shit. Do as much as you can.
No, fair. Because I definitely didn't do much.
No, you didn't.
As you saw.
Yeah, man. Like, and I think like that's a lot of people will play victim in the same situation where it's like, I pay all this rent. I should just get clients. Like, well, no, life's not fucking free. No one's going to come save you. They're going to give you help, the tools to do so, but you've got to do it yourself. Yeah,
there's like, a pool of 4,000 people in that gym that you can go and approach.
And that's the difference as well. Like, you have to be, and this just comes somewhat naturally to me, but you have to be the business owner. You have to be the person that's willing to go chase the leads and find the money and etc.
Yeah.
It's not just going to come.
But that's also not a lot of people. That's not taught to a lot of people.
It's not taught. It's also not explained well when people sign into contracts. Like, you're going to have to actually put in some work. They get sold the dream. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you did.
Fucking oath I did. Yeah. So what do you feel like was your biggest highlight? We'll go through a few things about your one-on-one days because it leads into the online stuff. But what do you feel like was your biggest moment or highlight from being a one-on-one PT? Where was the thing that was like, that's the one thing you remember? Or a few things you remember?
Start with low light. Okay. Because that's the most, like, that comes to light the most. There's a couple, actually. One, as much as it was a big pivotal change in, like, I guess where I was at the time, having signed my first client for $40 a session was pretty miserable. Yep. I was like, I remember sitting there going like, I knew there were other PTs in the gym that charged like double or double and a half of that. And I had to lower my price that much. I was happy to get the $40. But I remember going home at night, like, and having like a good old cry, sitting there going like, well, why am I like a quarter as good as everyone else that have been there at the same time? So I think that was like pretty, like, it was good in the fact that I signed my first person, but it was also very eye-opening where it was like, well, fuck. If you have to go that low, like, how desperate are you? Yeah. And I had a lot of people say that, like, fitness industry is not a good place to be. You're never going to make money. Like, it's not sustainable, et cetera, et cetera. Like, every no you could ever get told by friends and family, I got it. And like, that was the moment where I was like, fuck, maybe they're right. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And like, for 9 months, I sat down and spoke to probably hundreds of people and got one person to say yes at $40. So like, now, the person I am now, like, within the company at least, like, I do all the sales training. Like, I've got the highest sales conversion. It's like, that didn't come naturally easily to me. So that was pretty fucking hard. And there was another point like further down the line. So I'd exited the previous business arrangement. I had just recently moved gyms out of a big chain gym.
Yep.
So I'd gone from a good life to like a private studio, like in the back alleys of Point Cook, right? I made that decision because I was like, good life sucks now. I'm really busy. The rent's really high. So I can go somewhere else, take all my clients because it was in the same area. And I was able to negotiate a deal that none of my clients would have to pay casuals or membership to be there and do the sessions with me. So I was like, oh, I can just save $200 a week in rent, go there, keep all the clients and make more money and just have better equipment, better environment, less, non-ideal people, like out of market people that I didn't want to deal with day to day. Made that call, didn't consider a churn rate, didn't consider the fact that, I have all these clients, I was super busy and making 5 and a bit K per week. But what happens when they leave? And I need to replace new clients and this gym doesn't sign up anyone. Like, fuck. So that got to a point where I had a pretty fucked up churn rate at some point. Like, I think I'd escalated prices. I probably dropped my service, got lazy. The gym probably wasn't what they were comfortable with and what they were used to. And 3 months forward, I'd exited the previous business arrangement, which at the time had a little bit of status associated to it, right? Being a head coach within that company. So I kind of just gone out my own. I was always like kind of had my own personal branding within the company. It was always like Team LIONSTONE, Reese, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of completely just like dropped it, gone out my own and gone into a new gym with no acquisition process. Had a pretty decent churn rate of clients. Got down to a point where I was like, oh, fuck. The money I was making versus the, hours going there back and forth and just the stress that it, like I genuinely, like, and I remember calling up a mate being like, can you get me a job on the docks? Like I was ready to just throw it in the towel.
Yeah, right.
And that was,
stopped you.
Hey?
What was the thing that stopped you?
Just stubborn. I think a lot of business owners will go through that thought process where it's time to quit. And they I don't think any business owner doesn't have that thought process. It comes up. And I really got close to it. I was like, well, what do I need to do to work on the docks? Okay, you need your white card, you need this, that. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go get it. And just like, PT's just like, it's too hard. Right. I was still making maybe 100 grand a year. But like the amount of time I was in the gym and just like the amount of time I was trying to like, change systems, change fucking all these spreadsheets. And like, it just got too hard.
Yeah.
And I was ready to throw in the towel. And I think like just the stubbornness of what that would mean that everyone else was right. Like I'm a stubborn fuck. Like, and I just remember a bit like everyone saying like, PT never going to be anything. Fitness, not the best career, blah, blah, blah. And also having left that arrangement, having left that business agreement, partnership, if you will, that was a bit of a sour exit because it came pretty quick. Like I just made that decision. I was like, I no longer align with your values. I don't want to do what you do. I want to do it my way. Let's go. Yeah. And I made that decision very quick and probably kind of like put them on their ass a bit and just like, they weren't prepared. So there was a bit of like sourness there. And there was a bit of a fuck you. I was like, well, I can't quit because I've just left them and like left a partnership that I was like, had status in, that I was like a part owner in the business. Like I can't leave that and then fail. Yeah, fair. So I was like, it's a bit of a fuck you. I've got to keep going. And I had an interview lined up to see like what the docs would look like, and I just didn't go. Yeah, right. So I think like that was probably a big pivotal moment. And then I was like, well, fuck it. Rather than be part of the problem, I'll be part of the solution. If the gym's the problem, I'll move the gym. So I went back to a bigger chain gym with the plan of leaving. Like I pretty much was like, I'm going to go here for 3 months, treat it like an acquisition process, and then fuck off. Yeah. And then just do online completely. That was the exit plan. Go back to a full chain gym. And I forgot you did that. Yeah. So went back and worked into a bigger box gym, got acquisition, got some clients rolling through, made a shit ton of content. And I think the plan was to do 12 weeks there. I think I did 5. Went on holiday. That's right. Yeah. I went on holiday and then I was just like, I'm not going back. Yeah. So, man, there was some pretty big low point. Like the low point, the other low point was actually the tax bill. Yeah. Talk about that. Talk about the tax bill because that's a bit, So this is not financial advice, but I earned a lot of money. I think what was it per year at that 5.5K? It was like 300 something thousand. Yeah. So I earned like 3.5K 300,000 odd in a year, and spent a shit ton of it. Spent so much on just dumb stuff, holidays, fucking cars, shoes.
Singular car.
Nope.
Oh, that's right. I forgot too. Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot the other one.
Yep, cars. And then I forgot, like, just was like, oh fuck, tax. Oh fuck, GST. All these things, because like, mind you, like, backstory on that, like, I think the year prior I'd probably earned like 75K. So I jumped like every tax threshold in 12 months.
Yeah.
So like, then had to like, apply for GST, blah blah blah. Long story short, I had to backdate GST, which was fucked. And then I had the tax bill on top, and I think like with all the deductions and whatever, what have you, got it down to like I had to pay back 80K that I didn't have. I think I had like maybe 15 left to show.
Jesus.
And yeah, I just fucking wasted so much money. Which was a big lesson in itself, like learning how to manage money as a kid at 20 years old, 2021. Like it's a pretty big lesson, but I did it. And yeah, so I had to backdate GST, backdate the tax, and had to pay 80K, and I was like, oh fuck. So I think I had like, yeah, fuck all. So I had to put it on a payment plan and just, pay it off and blah, blah, blah. And that was scary as shit. Like, cause like you get hit with this $80,000 bill, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
I can imagine getting that.
Yeah. So there were conversations had where it's like, well, do I want to pay this back? Can I back the year that I've just had up? And it was like, this is when I was like already starting to think like, well, how can I stop trading time for money? What's the plan? I was still a few years off from going all online, but I was planning on doing less. Right. So I was in this point where I was like a bit of a crossroads, like, can I back the year that I've just had up and continue to pay this tax bill, pay the, and still make a profit? Or do I just file for termination of the business? I can't remember what it's actually called, liquidation, and just quit.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't have to pay back the bill, but I opted to just fucking dive in and go.
Yeah, fair. And you mentioned there like all the spreadsheets and stuff, because that was like going back to the spreadsheets. That was the first like little bit of innovation that I saw in terms of how PTs did things. Because you remember what we used to do? Word documents. Just draw up a table, write the programs in, fucking bench press 3x12, off you go, see you later. But you started with, because when I was a client, it originally started as Word, and then it transitioned into a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And then, because I've still got all those old spreadsheets, then it was a very basic check-in, and then it was a check-in that is quite similar to the one we have today.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
It's interesting. Like, I think that was like one, exposure to other coaches. And, just I think innovation was something that I valued very, very highly, very early. So like, I was very lucky that I had some pretty good mentors early on. Both business partners that I had, they were, pretty smart, switched on with actual coaching. Learned a lot, and I figured out there's more stuff to track and more stuff that we can actually influence change from. And ultimately it just came back down to time, man, because like shitty Word docs meant I had to require more time to write a program, check over progress, etc. So it was like ease of use, like deliverables, like how can I make my job easier to save me more time, but also allow the client to feel more value. So like looking back at it in hindsight, it was early stages of understanding perceived value and like creating leverage. Didn't know that at the time. It was just like being very reactive. But like I learned, it's quite funny, man. Like one of my biggest idols now is Hormozy. And he talks back to one of his first mentors was Travis Jones. And TJ was my first mentor as well. So like, it's kind of interesting how like I idolize him. He learned from him, blah, blah, blah. But I signed up to TJ's like mentorship, which like back then, I believe it was like 20K.
Yeah. For those who don't know, who's that?
Travis Jones. He used to be a business mentor. I'm not sure if he still is. He was the owner of...
It's a franchise set of gym type things, right?
Yeah. I can't remember. The name escapes me. But yeah, he owned a bunch of gyms and just was like really good with business and specifically marketing. And I signed up to his mentorship program. I believe it was 6 months or 12. I can't remember. It was 20K. And it was called Think Tank. I just signed up to that, and it was just like, you got some marketing advice, you got some sales tips, but ultimately you just got told to make your product fucking better.
Yeah.
And just like, he didn't give me the same spiel that he gave Alex, but like essentially what he told Alex was give someone an offer so good that they can't say no. when I was like getting, mentored by him as such, it was more just like, make your product fucking better, get better, do more. And ultimately comes back to the same thing. So when I signed up with that, with TJ, it was like, okay, I need to make the product better. So like, how can I do that? Track more stuff, figure out how Word documents are shit. How can I save me time? How can I make the product feel better?
Yep.
And so on. So
yeah, cool.
Innovation was very like valuable.
Yeah, I'm glad you spent that money, because then as a client, I got to style your sheets and use them for my clients. I got all that shit for free.
Yeah. Whereas now, like systems, I'll charge fucking like 10K for. But
That's
anyway,
that's it. So, what do you feel like was your highest moment as a one-on-one PT? Your best moment?
Oh.
We covered lows. Meeting me.
Yeah. The fat fuck that just wanted to be strong and eat ice cream.
Yeah. Well, look at me now.
Yeah.
Still
pretty
fat.
much the same. Yeah. Highest point, man. I think honestly, man, like as much as it wasn't a financial reward or anything like that, but like there's two actually. One was financial. Highest point was when I exited the partnership. That was super empowering for me. I was like, nah, fuck this. Like it didn't feel good for a while. The values didn't align for a while, and then there was like a couple extra nails in the coffin. I was just like, nah, fuck this. I'm done. And I remember like it was an emotional exit, don't get me wrong, but I remember like I'd been like for our like weekly meetings being a fucking prick for like weeks. I was like, and mind you, I was like pretty into the depths of a comp rep and angry by default. But I remember rocking up to meetings just like, oh, yuck, don't want to be here, blah, blah, blah. And then the day that I decided, I remember talking to my dad before it, calling him in the car, being like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm pulling the pin. And he was like, yeah, just fucking do it. Rip the Band-Aid. Like, you've been complaining about it. Like, he's very much someone that's like very straight down the line. It's like, if you don't like it, fucking stop. Right. So I went in, and it was probably the first meeting I'd gone in for a few months where I was like just happy. I walked in, I was like, hey, how are you? What's going on? And I remember feeling like a big weight off my shoulders, being like, well, this is a good decision because I'm actually happy walking into this. So that was a pretty prideful moment for me where I was like, nah, I can go do this my own and back myself. Like it was emotional to leave because like I'd helped build this thing to be like at that point maybe a $500,000-$600,000 business.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was these guys were people that like I spent pretty much all my waking hours with. And so yeah, it was hard, but like that was a pretty big high. And secondly was like the first time I ever had $100,000 in my account. I think that first $100,000 just sitting in your account, like, oh, I have $100,000 in savings.
Yeah,
like,
especially at like 21 or whatever.
I would have been like 20, probably 20, maybe 21.
It's unheard of.
Yeah. So like I remember that being like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like I've had larger sums of money in my account now, but it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah.
I think that first $100,000 for me has been that was pretty fucking cool. Like
Sick.
nothing like it.
No, terrific. And you said like after you
one more. Sorry.
Okay.
This place. This gym. This facility.
Yeah,
I know we're jumping. Yeah, but you're talking about like the highest points. Are you talking about highest points in just business or
one-on-one?
Oh, okay. We'll come to this later then. That's fine.
Yeah? So after leaving the previous business, you obviously had the internal brand of yourself there, your own personal brand, but obviously that's nothing like it is now. What were the steps that you took leaving that business and going out on your own to kind of rebuild that personal brand?
Personal brand's interesting because I think there's a difference between personal brand and like business.
Yep.
Right. So at the time, I had a personal brand of being the pretty direct guy in our, I guess, especially like closed portion of the fitness industry. Right. Like, you know, as they say, like be famous in your hometown. So in the areas and surrounding areas around where I was, I had a pretty decent reputation of just saying it like was, being pretty like blunt and not being afraid to like stir some shit. So my personal brand was that, but then the brand of what the business stood for was like longevity, like, you know, high-end coaching, education, et cetera, et cetera. The steps of which I took to build that, I think just definitely came back down to service. One, like deliverables and service, being the person that like people could go and tell their friends about and go, well, Reese is the smart guy. Reese is the one that will actually like slow down and think. So developing personal brand definitely came from like taking the slow road of just getting smarter and like giving people the service that they deserved. But then as it grew to be something that like, especially into the online space, personal brand kind of started to dwindle. I cared less about personal brand. I didn't actually want to be the face of the brand. I didn't want people to associate Reese with LIONSTONE. Yep. Especially when I hired. And then it was more just about brandability. Like, what do people want? Yep. What do they want to see? Right? How can I kind of push into that corner of the market. What do people want to see, and what am I willing to show? Right, because I think there's a big cross population there where like a lot of people go too far into what do people want, and they'll do things that are like somewhat unethical, just money grabs, etc.
Yeah.
So I kind of found this like cross point in the Venn diagram of like what do people want to see and what am I willing to show? What am I willing to present? And that's kind of where I found my niche market of people that actually care.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. And then, so we'll skip forward a bit to online, of where you moved fully online, which would have been 2018.
Fully, end of 2018.
Yeah. So what was that transition like? And obviously you wanted to buy back time. Was that the main reason, or did you just hate doing one-on-ones?
A bit of both.
Okay.
I don't think many people after 5-6 years like one-on-ones. And I hear it all the time, like, oh, I like one-on-ones. It's like, no. You like the safety. You like the fact that you can rock up and you know that there'll be people there.
Yep.
Like, I guarantee you, if you could go sit in Bali and not train fucking anyone and coach people from anywhere in the world, or build a facility that's your own and not go see people, you would.
Yep.
Right? Now, I'm in a phase now, like where we are in business, where I was like, oh, cool, I've done this. It's like, I think things come in waves, right? It's like the whole like balance, work-life balance, right? I don't think that should exist. I think it comes in waves. Like balance comes in waves, and in all other aspects, it's synergy. Try and get them to work together rather than fucking position one as the opposite.
Yep.
But like most people, given the opportunity, would not coach in person and trade their time if they didn't have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like I'm now in a point where I'm going to probably go back into a little bit of it next year. Train like 4 or 5 people just because I like the space that I'm in, and why not? Yeah,
cool.
But like, I think to answer your question, the move to online was because yes, I hated one-on-one stuff. It was fucking boring. Because ultimately, like you end up doing the same thing. Yeah. And then I just didn't also like trading my time. What's going on, everyone? Hope you're well. I won't keep you too long. I know you're hopefully enjoying the podcast. And if you are, let us know. It would be really greatly appreciated if you can jump on, give us a quick 5-star review. You don't even need to stop listening to the show. If you're on Spotify, you can do it in less than 10 seconds. And it does help the show grow a lot. It helps us, get a bit of confirmation bias that we're doing the right thing. And just to say thank you, if you guys do that, we're going to be picking one person every month to guest spot on the podcast that has shared, liked, comment, subscribed, and interacted with what we do. Big thank you. Let's get back to it.
No, that's fair. I think we've spoken on our earlier episodes about just the principles of business, but not actually any actionables on how to transition to online. So what were the key steps that you took from going completely one-on-one to going semi-online to then going fully online?
Use the gym for everything that it's worth, right? So a lot of people will sit there and say that the rent you pay is it's an expense, and it's not. It's a fucking asset. Because there is never a time in your business career as a personal trainer that you'll be able to only pay $300 a week and have access to 4,000 people. Never going to happen, right? Never fucking going to happen. You go pay that on Facebook, you won't get the same ROI, right? You won't have the same hot leads ready to pay you. It's not going to happen. So milk the gym for what it's worth. The way I did it was I treated the gym as an acquisition system. I signed people up. I then told them that I will work with them for 2 to 4 weeks, depending on their degree of experience. So let's say they were pretty comfortable in the gym. I work with you for 2 weeks. We do 3 sessions week 1. We do 2 sessions week 2, and then you go online. Yeah. Right. So it was like that was the process. You signed up, and then you went to online. Right. I don't work with people long term in here, and I used the gym essentially as a marketing funnel, to get acquisition, to then do sales, to then show them value, and then push them into a higher leverage opportunity. So the way that worked, especially the way I structured price, it was like, cool. One-on-one sessions were really, really expensive. Right? You get all these systems, you get all the fucking tracking, you get all the stuff that actually helps you get results. You just lose me talking to you in your session, and you pay about a quarter. Right? Yeah, so it worked. It was a very easy transition to go, well, if you structure price appropriately, provided that your time, and this is where a lot of PTs will fuck it up, they'll charge out per session $80 per week, right? But then price their online at the same.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. It can make sense to you and I, because I could provide more value to someone online than I can in person. Yeah. Right. But the perception of the individual matters. They believe your time is more valuable. Your skill set is actually more valuable.
Yeah, I get you.
But if you price appropriately, provided your time is anchored higher, and just transition down. So let's say you want to charge $100 for online coaching, a session needs to be 2.
Yeah, I get you.
Right, one session needs to be double. so that when they perceive that drop, it's a perception of drop in time as well as price, because price doesn't dictate value. So yeah, I did that, used the gym as an acquisition system, shuttled everyone through. All the people that I had as like OG clients, I pretty much just told them there's a date, right? I'm leaving at this time, and we're going to titrate your sessions down before then, so you get more and more comfortable.
Yeah, cool.
And then I went on holiday, and I'd planned on coming back, and then we were going to do, I think I was going to do like another 4 or 5 weeks after coming back. Everyone did well while I was away. I was just like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I remember that, because that's when we worked together again for the second time.
Yeah,
because you went to between 4 gyms.
Good Life, Inspire,
Raw.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was shit. Fuck. That was a weird experience. And then Crunch. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So what was that like?
Well, actually, Raw was a strategy play, right? Because when I was at Inspire, I had that moment where I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to go to the docks.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I'm going to quit. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to back myself and fucking just build it up. But then we went and trained at Raw, and I was like, this place is a fucking gold mine. This gym's awesome, but it's just not got good equipment, not been well looked after, and hasn't been really looked at appropriately as a business for a while. Yeah. I was like, I want to buy it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd planned to go be a PT there, figure out their situation, and then offer to buy it. And then I figured out their situation. I was like, I don't want to buy it. So then I moved to Crunch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I forgot you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Lucky you didn't buy it.
No.
Because then we wouldn't have this place.
No.
We'd be stuck in Hoppers. It'd be close to my house. But in terms of that transition time from, I suppose it was Inspire you started doing online?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that transition time between then and going fully online? How long did that take? Because it obviously wasn't overnight.
No. I think mine is actually a slower experience than what it should or could be done in.
Is that because it was relatively new at the time?
It was relatively new. It was also like I was just dabbling, kind of just dipping my toe in, seeing what it worked, if I could do it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was definitely a sign of the times as well. I think it took in totality 2 years.
Right, okay.
Because my first fully online client, funnily enough, was actually Sam, like Sam Francis that works for us now. Yeah. So she was my first fully online client. That I'd never actually trained ever in person. Previously, there was that acquisition system where I trained them, and transitioned them. Yeah. But Sam was the first purely online client. So then I was lucky because I had a friendship with Sam, so I could test stuff and not feel like it was, shit.
Yeah, she understood.
She understood.
Yeah.
So that was fine. And then I think I just started to slowly build the online repertoire of clients. As well as still having the process of one-on-ones and then the acquisition, churn rate, etc. Yeah. So I think I did that for about 2 years. But from the time that I made the decision that I'm going to go all online, I think to when it actually happened, it was like a 12-week process.
Right. Because you obviously would have had to build up some kind of social presence online to then refill those leads that left or clients that left.
Yes and no. No. I think at the time, this is something that might surprise a lot of people. The LIONSTONE, our main acquisition system now is Instagram. We've done, I can't say we've never done paid marketing. We've never done paid marketing successfully.
That worked,
right? Yeah. We paid a shit ton of money in marketing and just flopped, right? But I think we've only ever taken 2 clients from a paid advertisement in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
So we've not really marketed, right? So we've built to where we are completely organically, and our main acquisition is Instagram. The Instagram following hasn't grown all that much in 10 years, right? I think I hit 7,000, 8,000 followers in 2015.
Right, and we're at 11.2 now.
Yeah. So we're looking at degree of growth, not that much. So social growth has never really been our priority. Referral strategies, ascension plans, and repurchase rates, LTVs, have always been a high end. One of my clients messaged me yesterday, just as a fucking side note, I don't coach anymore. I've got 3 OG clients, so don't come at me to fucking work with me. One of my OG clients messaged me yesterday, was oh, happy 8 years.
Fuck yeah. Oh,
right?
Yeah, right.
So when we look at LTV, the lifetime value of that client, pretty good. Pretty fucking good. Right? I don't want to calculate it, but pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I'm calculating how old I was when they signed up.
Yeah. So that's the main priority for me in the early days was not build a social presence to then create an online business. It was service the people that I have well, create a referral process, get them to become raving fans. And that's something that TJ taught me really, really like massively is like, if you want to grow your business, build raving fans.
Yes.
And that was the exact language he used, raving fans. You need to have raving fans that just grow your business for you. And now understanding business the way I do, it's like they are the most the highest compounding leads that you'll ever get, because not only does the LTV of the person that's paying you increase, but then it compounds tenfold for every person they tell.
Yep.
And that actually signs on.
Yep.
So that was the main process, man. It was like to build that online business was all referral strategy.
Yeah, terrific.
I don't think bold claim, I don't think social presence is necessary to build an online business.
Definitely helps though.
Fucking oath, it helps. Don't get me wrong, it helps. It will fucking streamline your pipeline and your process infinitely. But if you're starting out tomorrow, you could, like, you're lying if you don't know 50 people that you could help. Go tell those 50 people you'll help them for $10.
Yeah.
Right? Like $10, just once off fee, right? I know, like, I don't say free because even though it's $10, they will just care that little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I want to get a testimonial. Can you pay me $10? I'll work with you fucking 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever time you have available. Train 50 people, do a fucking good job of it, get 50 result photos. There you go. Yeah. There's your business.
There you go. Just give them the blueprint.
Fuck it, that's a pretty basic,
it'd work,
basic bullshit way to do it. But don't be. My point is, like, don't be afraid to bootstrap it and just do the work.
Yeah, interesting. I just had a weird thought, so we'll shut this down pretty quick. But direct debits.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they first started getting implemented into coaching?
I did it straight away.
No, you didn't.
Didn't I?
No, because
Really?
I still remember bank transferring you for sessions.
I think that was because you were a PT at the gym. I just kind of leewayed you.
You just leewayed it, right? Okay. Yeah, fair. Okay, well, there you go.
So I in the very beginning took cash for about, I don't know, mind you, I didn't sign a client for 9 months, so I took cash for like
$40.
3 months after that, and then I was like, oh, I need debits.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're not debiting, you're stupid.
Because I know a lot of people that just still do cash bank transfers. If you want to hide from the ATO, that's the way to go, but don't do that.
Don't do that. Not financial advice.
Yeah, thanks. All right, terrific. All right, well, let's move along from the online transition and let's go into where we're at. Not necessarily today, but what, 2.5 years ago, when you hired Mason, your first hire. Talk about that,
man. So I think there's probably a big
Did I miss a whole bunch?
No. That's what I'm going to say. I'm very thankful for the way this has all kind of worked out, because to kind of paint the picture, I have to flash forward a little. We've recently hired 2 new coaches who are amazing. They're great. And they deserve to get all the clients in the world. But they have it easy.
Even I had it easy.
They have it easy in comparison to Mason.
Yeah.
Because, like, Mason being the first hire, I had no systems, no process, no ops plan, no education on how to do the job.
Yeah.
It was bootstrapped as fuck, and it was like, let's go. And Mason was someone that I had history with from the previous business. He worked underneath, and that was this very pyramid structured company where it was like he was definitely underneath, and that's not how we run things now. But I had that relationship with him, needed the help, and all, like, I don't know if I've said this publicly, but Mason was at a point where I was like, I need the help, but I also, like, I'm sick of working.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like where I was at the point where I was busting at the seams and I needed someone yesterday and, like, inquiries were coming in out the fucking wazoo. Like, that wasn't the case. I was at a place where I was comfortable with the amount of work I wanted and was doing, but I didn't want to say no to new people coming in.
Yeah.
And I'd realized, I think that was like probably maybe that month that I hired Mason, I'd realized that coaching for me was not a long-term career strategy, like running a business was.
Yep.
And so Mason came in at a time where, like, acquisition-wise wasn't like, we didn't have like inquiries coming in regularly. I didn't have systems. I didn't have processes to teach him. I met him at a cafe and he thought it was a proper interview. So he rocked up in a shirt and, like, looking all nice. And, like, for those that know Mace, like, it's a weird sight. And he came in all profession, like, was ready to go. And I was like, cool, this is the plan. And I knew from the very beginning that I was obviously going to start Mace as a subby, but I knew he had had an experience where he had been a subcontractor and been, treated less favorably, especially financially. Yeah. So I was like, cool, this is the process. This is what you'll earn. And it was very, very favorable to him. And I told him from day one, the plan was we're going to build this into a thing that will grow legs bigger than you and I can handle. And that one day you'll have profits in the company. I like from day one, from hiring, and that was a lesson I learned, and probably one of the biggest lessons I'd learned from the previous business venture, that you need to reward your staff heavily, both financially and with responsibility. But more to the point, they need to understand that they're part of something. They're not underneath. They've got a percentage of the pie.
Yep.
And because if they don't, they will leave.
Yeah, I believe.
They'll take your business and your company, learn all the skills, learn the systems, figure out what to do, and then at some point, the natural progression is ego kicks in. Like, I could do this. I could do this on my own. I'm going to go do it, right? And as a subcontractor, the likelihood of you holding on to those clients fucking not going to happen, right? Like, you can't enforce non-competes on a subcontractor. Employee, different story, right? But as a subby, they're going to fuck off. They're going to go as long if you don't reward them appropriately and you don't give them a long-term strategy for success. So I had that plan, and I'd seen that happen time and time again within the previous business, that coaches would come in, get busy, leave, right? And even if they didn't take the clients, it's like, you leave, they leave, and you don't have a process, because most times if a subby leaves, it's going to be on a bad terms. You're not going to have the process to transition these clients into a new person or a new coach and change that over. They're going to just leave, right? And then you're going to be left with your dick in your hands going, well, what the fuck do I do? And then those clients won't be able to work with that coach if you were to try and enforce that non-compete. Can't work with a new coach. They don't like you because they don't have a relationship with you. So just go fuck off and find someone else. So like,
it's a messy situation.
It's messy. You lose a shit ton of rev, profit drops massively. And then it's just like, it's damage control, right? And like in damage control, we spoke about this on another pod. There's only bad and worse. Right. So it's never good.
No.
So that was planned from day one. It was like reward heavily, financially incentivize, and put a percentage of the company on the plate.
And because you didn't have heaps of inquiries coming in, what did Mason do to get clients?
It was all content.
Wasn't he sending video messages to people, hitting up all old clients with a video message?
So I had I was lucky because I had that massive churn rate of clients. When I got busy, I dropped service, moved gyms, etc. I had a fucking huge list of old clients. So Mason contacted all of them, whether it was a call or a video message. A lot of them were a video. So it was just him, hey, and like you know what Mason's like with video, right? So it was like, it was not good, right? But it's all a learning curve. Like there's so many things that like I look back and go, well, it may have been pretty fucking shit, but shit is better than nothing. So like he'd send a video like, hey, it's Mason, blah blah blah. We actually did a $31 for 31 days in December. So he started the last week of November. And then the first week of December, I was like, cool, we're going to do $31 for 31 days. And we had bulk amount of inquiries. Mason took all of them. So I think we made like, I don't know, $500 off that. And then it was his job. So to just give them high end value for 4 weeks and then sign them into ongoing coaching after that. And his conversion rates were pretty good. And then it was just, again, double down on referrals and content.
Yeah, cool.
So like that grew us all the way through COVID.
And 2 in COVID.
Well, that grew us all the way into COVID stage 4. Stage 4, Mason, like they announced stage 4 lockdowns where it's like gyms are closed. They're not going to open. You can't leave. You can't walk. You can't do outdoor exercise. Like you just fucking can't do shit. And Mason called me. He's like, what the fuck are we going to do? And I just said, well, we'll make it work. And by the end of stage 4, which at that time we were told 4 weeks, it wasn't. I said, by the end of the 4 weeks, you'll be full and we will have hired another. We'll hire a female. And that's how it went. Like had a bit of strategy on the back end, did a bunch of free shit, gave a lot of value for clients and whatnot. I think I've spoken about it on a previous podcast. Maybe I think it might have been on the podcast I went on. Unlock. Yeah, that was a year ago today.
Yeah, that was.
No, well, maybe not today. It was before our Christmas party.
Tomorrow.
Which is what we're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, so year ago tomorrow.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, fuck.
Long story short, did a bunch of shit for free during COVID to provide a lot of clients value in return for referrals. And it worked. And then, we just hired. But like the biggest thing, like from hiring person to person, systems grew. And this is like something for everyone at home. You right?
Yeah, I was tired. Big session, mate.
A bit boring, huh?
Yeah, I'm falling asleep. I heard this story a million times.
Mate, we probably maybe we just need to start talking about whether hot dog's a fucking sandwich.
Yeah, go shout out to that podcast. That's a pretty good one too.
LIONSTONE podcast. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, person to person hiring, like just the systems and strategies just altered dramatically. And if there's any take home points for everyone at home, like Write down everything that you do. If you're if you're a solopreneur, you're the only person in the business.
Is that a word?
Yeah, solopreneur. It's a
Right.
it's a thing.
Right.
Apparently.
I'll take your word for it.
If you're that person, write down every single job you do, whether it be from, let's say you're an e-com and it's like, okay, well, you take the product photos. How do you take them? What angles do you take them from? What do you do to edit them? Like, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Like, how do you onboard them onto the website? How do you stock count? Like, every job you fucking do, and you have to time audit it. So you write down step by step what you do, how long it takes you, and then how long it should take if you're actually focused.
Yeah,
right?
I get you.
So that way you can kind of like start to map out like what categories of work you do, and it falls into the business pillars that we've gone over. I think it was episode 1. So it's going to fall into one of those pillars, and that way like you can start to see where your strengths are and what you're good at, what you want to keep doing, and what you can potentially outsource. But even if you were to like duplicate your role, and let's say it's like in service and you're just going to duplicate the service and do more of what you do, you have to have a blueprint of what you do, how you do it, so that you can actually educate the person you hire. And it needs to be digital. So it needs to be digital, automated, recurring, and evergreen. So if you don't have that, you're going to be just trading your time to train the person up to do what you do. So you're going to reduce your time leverage in what you do because you have to help someone else, right? And then spend heaps of time elsewhere teaching them. So you're losing money like in both directions.
Yeah, so the first bit of time is very inefficient.
Yeah, it's huge.
But it pays off massively.
Well, no, if you do it that way. Whereas if you make it a Dare product where like every job you do is digitalized, it's automated, so it's drip fed to the new applicant or the new role, right? So it's digital, it's drip fed to them automatically, it's reoccurring, so they get updates often, and it's evergreen, it's there forever, you never have to change it. That hiring process becomes far easier. So it starts with an ops plan, so looking at every job, how it's done, what category it's in, and who should do it. And the girls that we've hired recently have had the best time. Like... It's been so easy. Like,
in comparison.
Within 48 hours, they were ready to take clients.
Yeah.
And they're 3 weeks in and they're like, 20 clients each? Like, there's that normally, like, I remember even Sam, like hiring Sam, it's like, it took me 4 or 5 weeks to teach Sam how to do the shit before she could even take clients. Like, for Reese and Brie, it was 48 hours, you're ready, let's go. Yeah. And like, there's time delay of learning curves and like confidence and whatever, but the process is there that they can refer back to and learn.
Yeah. So we hired 2 in COVID. 2?
Yeah.
Was I hired in COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, you dealt with not great.
It was a fun time.
Yeah.
So we hired. I talk about we. You.
Well, no, it's we.
We. I wasn't in the business when you hired.
No, but you are now.
Right,
so it's we.
We collectively as a group we decided
to hire you.
No, we hired Chloe before me.
We hired Chloe, and then we hired you. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah, what better been good?
Man, what was like, actually, this is probably a really good question on your end. You just said before that when like I was coaching you back in the Good Life days, you didn't really perceive it as a business. What was your perception when I offered you the job? Was it a business at that point?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, because I knew you'd hired 2 more people, and because we were already friends at the time, I had a bit of insight to what was going on. Like you would run ideas past myself and someone else, and we'd kind of just shoot ideas off us. So yeah, I knew that.
And you were the only one that would respond.
Well, it's probably because the only one that really cared about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I saw it as a business at that point because I knew we didn't talk about revenue and stuff like that then, but I knew how full all the other coaches were, so I could do math, and I was like, okay, cool, this thing has legs. And then because we were talking about it long before you offered me the job.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
we were talking about because you were still running your business.
Yeah,
so
it must have been back in Crunch because that's before you hired Mason and Chloe.
Yeah, like I was trying to tell you what to do to like get you busy.
No, I didn't listen.
For fucking ages. Yeah.
Well, I did it all right. For someone living at home.
That's when you should have been doing the best.
Well, it was my best.
Fuck off. You're at your best now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Anyway, what was the difference? Like when we quantify, I'm actually just curious for myself, like what did in your eyes quantified a business that quote unquote had legs at that time?
That's a good question. Cause I didn't really think about it back then because I just wanted to train people and make money.
Yeah.
I didn't want to run a business.
No.
And then
I don't think you ever wanted to run a business.
Yeah, probably. Nah, you're right. I never really wanted to run a business. I think because back on the one-on-one days, I didn't really think of it as a business then until I read a couple books, like business self-help books, and then I was kind of like, I tried it, and then I was just like, fuck it, no. And I kind of just was just trading time for money and just signing new people every now and then, losing people, going back and forth. But then it was probably, how long have I been in the company?
2 years, 3 years? I don't know.
Probably 3.
Yeah, closer to 3.
3, because I lived at this house for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I was in mum's house before that. So
yeah, closer to 3.
Closer to 3 years. What quantified it as a business? I don't have an answer for you because I never really thought about it, but probably the revenue generated, the amount of clients that were happening at the time, and just the things that were going on. Because you hired 2 people.
Yeah.
Because like obviously I've recognized your previous business that you're in as a business purely because the amount of people that were working under it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just seeing people that you were hiring was like, yeah, cool. I quantify this as a business.
Mm.
But that was well before you offered me the job.
Yeah, right. I think that's actually pretty, like, just for people at home, like if you're running a service-based business, whether it be in fitness or whether it be in fucking allied health or whatever, like fucking electrician.
Yeah.
Right. If it's in service, like, I think at some point you need to hire. You want to be a business? You need to hire.
Yep.
Right. Like otherwise you just got all the customers you have are all your fucking bosses and you can't ever actually leverage anything. Yeah. Anyway.
Interesting.
Little dig at businesses. Whatever.
Yeah.
Not a business unless you have people.
Yeah, hire people, yeah?
Yeah.
So otherwise you just got a hobby that pays you.
With a lot of bosses.
All right, so let's talk more about the subsequent hires. Was that purely just out of you had more people coming in than you could service? Or did you just want to expand? Because at the time, like based off what it sounds like, Mason, you had a couple of people coming in. A couple of leads coming in. He kind of had to put in work to fill himself up as well.
With a really, really low value, really low price point offer.
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, so subsequently Chloe after that, did she have
Chloe was all strategy.
Right, okay.
Chloe was all strategy.
Talk about that.
We were 2 males that were not very approachable.
Yes.
And with a large female market, a pretty large female market just with engagement on socials.
Yep.
And so I needed female.
Mm-hmm.
And Chloe portrayed that she was like educated, cared about getting smarter, and aligned with our company values. So I was like, cool, she's the person. She's going to open us up to a female market, and she fucking killed it.
Sure did.
Yeah, killed it.
Yep.
So that was all strategy, and then it was just from there. Like it's like, well, how do we replicate strategy? How can we branch into different areas of that same market?
Yep.
So obviously there are subtypes and archetypes within males and females, right? Like I resonate way different to someone that like a male that would resonate with Mason. So there's heaps of different archetypes. So it was just like, well, how can we fill each archetype that we currently like attract with each subsequent hire?
Interesting.
And then like Gian, like on the back end with ops was just like, that was through necessity. That was like, response times were being too slow. I hadn't quite grasped the understanding of time kills all deals at that point. I couldn't keep up with the demand, and we needed simplification on the back end to make things replicable and scalable.
Yeah. So
right?
that was the main reason to hire Gian?
Yeah. Well, we looked for 3 GNs. We had 3 GNs prior to Gian. You don't know about this. Right. Yeah. I had 3 ops. Well, they were at the time VAs. 3 VAs prior to Gian that just were impossible.
Yeah.
And those experiences of like just learning like critical thinking skills and knowing what to look for when hiring someone for that type of position was super valuable.
Yep. Like
you're not going to hit the ball out of the park with that kind of thing straight away. And I don't know where I read this. It's in a book. Might have been $100 Million Offers, but there's a quote, I think it was by Steve Jobs, that like business is not like baseball. Baseball, the most you can ever do with a grand slam is like load the bases and get 4 runs.
Yep.
Right. And that's the best it will ever be. But in business, you could hit like one thing out the park and get 100 million fucking runs in one go.
Yeah.
And like, that's what GN has been, right? Like I didn't hit the ball, like I missed the ball 3 times, 3 hires, figured out what skills I needed, what critical thinking skills were required for the job. Yep. And then hit the ball way out of the park with GN.
Yeah, cool.
So like, there's 2 different types of hiring, in my opinion, from learning what we've done, like from what we've done. There's through growth strategy to acquire more clients and just like improve like revenue. Yep. Which may not, like especially if their subbies may not directly impact profit margin. Maybe it will impact profit margin, but just not as healthily. Yep. Whereas someone like an ops manager or a VA is all expense in the beginning. Yep. Right. And the only thing they buy back is time. which for me was the largest leverage of opportunity.
Yep.
So like when hiring, you've got to look at like, are you hiring to create more scale and growth, or are you hiring to buy back time and predictability?
Yeah, because I think you mentioned in another podcast, like if you buy back time, you better well do something with that time, otherwise you're just wasting money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like people talk about like building lifestyle and balance all the time. It's like, well, hire. It's like, and buy back all this time. It's like, well, if you do nothing with that time, you'll be fucking broke because you're now paying people to do the shit you did.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Fair. All right, so moving on. Do you want to talk about me?
Yeah. What about you?
You just hired me for my good looks.
Yeah. I think Pat was like a pretty pivotal place in the business as well.
I just bring the looks to LIONSTONE.
Yeah.
And the comedy.
Pretty much. No, Pat was like, I think like a little bit of credit where it's due. Dealt with some pretty tough people in the beginning.
Yeah,
We've touched on that a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch.
So
here I am.
here
Still
we
here.
are. Still
3
here.
years later.
And yeah, fucking weaponized the business with media.
That's it. There you go.
Happy
All right,
days.
moving on for me. Building the gym. That was a fucking process and a half. So we've always...
Don't build a gym.
No, everyone knows the backstory about building this gym. It's just lockdown. You didn't want to line up. We signed this lease. We looked at a couple other places.
I signed the first lease 24 hours after that.
Mm,
And then that fell through and then I got this, but blah, blah, blah.
yeah, here we are.
Here we are. Built the gym.
Why'd you build the gym? Obviously, you wanted a place to train, but you now have an office out here. We have this in here. It doesn't make any direct revenue.
No.
So talk about that. Then why'd you do it? Because on paper, it sounds like a stupid decision.
Yeah. Most people would say spending what we spent to fucking deck this out, in the ballpark of 600K.
Yep.
Most people would say spending 600K on a facility to not make any money directly is a very dumb idea.
Yes.
However, I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we've been able to do with this space so far, with just even, for example, the podcast, the media, the creation, etc. We originally had plans to like rent out the space. That may still be a possibility in the future, but it's not a current priority. Just nearly burped up my whole life. It's not a current priority. So there is no direct revenue generated from the space, and most people would say that's a really dumb business idea. However, there are a few things here. One, perceived value, and how can we create perceived value? So there's 4 mechanisms of which we can do that. I've gone through them before. It's essentially double H, double G, head, heart, gut, and genitals. And having this space ticks all 4.
Yep.
So we can educate our clients freely and openly through this space. So there's a head. We can create community by having client meetups, having people come, etc.
Yep.
We can go gut and we can have a shit ton of seminars. We can have a shit ton of media. We can do it all, right? One-stop shop.
Yep.
And genitals, big status play, right? Not only from a client's perspective, like, oh, they have a place that I can't go. Maybe if I work with them, I can eventually. But also from a perspective of business and hiring, we can hire really, really good talent. And that's been made very evident because we have this space.
Yep.
It's like, it means something to walk into this space and go, oh, I work for a company that has a private place. I want to work for these guys.
Yeah.
So it's paid dividends in the talent we've been able to acquire just from like that move alone.
Yep.
The media side of things, we've been able to produce far more media than any of our competition, and we're only just getting started. Next year, we're moving into like a double down on media where we'll probably be posting 4 to 5 times a day. So fucking look out. Not by your accord. Don't fucking pull a face. Right. Yep. So we're going to be doubling down on media, and like that's something that no one else can do. So this space has been a direct influence in reoccurring rev that has come into the company as a result of what it says about the company, not directly from the space itself.
Yeah.
So its indirect revenue increases has come, and it's been very clear. So since we actually started posting about this space, we've had like a 20% increase in inquiry rates. We've had like just the media production. We've had way more engagement on socials. Like
we'd still be doing this out of your fucking bedroom.
Yeah. And it's like, I look at like opportunity costs, like, yeah, this cost a lot, but the opportunity that it brings in, like the people, the specific person we have coming here next year to come fucking check it out.
Oh yeah.
Like, fuck, that would never have happened.
Yeah.
Right. The, the ability that we can actually give back to the industry and educate and run seminars and all that kind of stuff. It will generate revenue one way or another.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to thank Eugene Teo for that. Actually.
Which part?
The fact of just having a private space. Like he was the one that first like initiated that idea, like sparked the thought.
Yep.
And I was like, oh fuck it, I want to do that. It's cool.
And here we are.
Yeah.
A year later.
I think like we still don't have all our equipment. Fucking dogs.
Let's hope they don't watch this.
Oh, fucking dogs. Give me my prime shit. Anyway, you can tell I've had too much caffeine. Now, the gym itself, like, we've had a lot of moments in here where I've had a lot of nights in here, like, bawling my eyes out crying.
Yep.
Like, just one, through pride of being like, fuck, I've done this thing. And two, like, what the fuck have I done? There's been a lot of those moments, but would I change it? No.
No.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I suppose that's pretty much the origins, but what's next for LIONSTONE? Because that changes every day.
Yeah, it does. It does. We've, look, I think I'm a big believer of keeping your cards close to your chest. Mm-hmm. So we've got a bunch of cool, like, I don't want to say, cool things coming. Like, watch this space. Yeah. Like, we've got some stuff that's happening in the new year that will, I don't want to understate this, change the industry.
Yeah. Piss some people off.
It'll piss a lot of people off, but it will change the industry for the better.
Yep.
It will change a lot of people's lives that have perhaps been misinformed by this industry, misled. So we're going to do that where, I think I might have said this before in another pod, we're launching supplements and apparel next year as well. So LIONSTONE Athletics, that will be probably Feb, which will allow us to monopolize and increase like LTV across the company massively, creating some sort of referral process within the company, within the clients for supplements and apparel. So that's all that's coming forward probably in Feb. We've got a bunch of educational tours booked in for next year, some international people coming in that you'll be very excited to see.
Yep.
And I guess much more of the same as well.
Yeah, more podcasts.
Like more podcasts, more clients helped, more lives changed, more businesses grown.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I think like where we're going, there's a lot of fun stuff happening just from a business owner's perspective. Like, I'm excited for the next 12 months. But yeah, I think probably worth touching on like that can all only happen from where we are now.
Yeah.
And to answer your question from the beginning of like, where the fuck are we and what is LIONSTONE and why should people fucking listen to the business stuff? Like, we're fucking got currently a $1.5 million roll rate. Profit margins are, they're pretty good. I'm not going there. They're good. And yeah, like we're in a good spot. We've got this place that, no one else has to this caliber.
Yep.
And I'm fucking proud. Like, we've done some cool shit, and I'm excited to help some businesses in the new year.
Sick. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We will see you when? Next year?
No, I'll do some short forms.
Okay, well, you'll see me next year.
You won't see Pat.
No, or on the other podcast, you'll see me next week.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's the other podcast? Oh, LIONSTONE, the LIONSTONE podcast.
I did yesterday.
You want to learn like nutrition and training and hear Pat talk about sandwiches.
Sandwiches, is water wet, all kinds of good stuff over there.
Go there. But I've got some cool guests booked in for the new year as well. One that I'm actually super excited for.
I know about that one?
Huh?
I know about that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Someone that talks like this.
Yep.
Anyway, that's cool. Thanks for jumping on. Big thanks to Knock On Automation. They've helped us heaps grow. If you want a chat with them, I'm sure we'll chuck a link below. We can book a free consult and see how automation can help your business. See ya.
Bye.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.